My name's Trav Y.S. Cole. I'm a 59-year-old retired smoke jumper from Montana. Spent most of my life dropping into wildfires and hiking back out through ash and chaos. But these days, I keep it simple. Just me, my border collie Scout, and a patch of land I call Red Rock Hollow tucked away near the desert edge of New Mexico. 32 acres of stubborn mesquite trees, a rust-red barn, a weathered ranch house I built with my own hands, and a peace I'd earned every second of. Now, I don't go looking for trouble. Never have. I fix fences, grow squash, take care of a couple goats and my 2-quarter horses. I mind my own business. Which is why, when a sheriff's cruiser came barreling down my private dirt road one morning while I was sunbathing beside the little pool I'd poured myself over 3 weekends, I thought maybe someone got lost. Or maybe there'd been an accident up the highway. But when the deputy stepped out and asked it stone-faced if I was squatting on this property, if I was homeless or trespassing, well, I knew right then this wasn't a mistake. This was war. And it started like most neighborhood wars with a new neighbor and a truckload of assumptions. See, about 7 months before that Saturday, I bought Red Rock Hollow after selling my place outside Missoula. I was looking for dry air, big sky, and no damn HOA. And for a while, it was heaven. Folks in town were friendly, stopped me at the feed store, brought cobblers when they heard I'd moved in. I was the quiet newcomer with calloused hands and a calm dog. That changed when Lorraine Shaw moved in. She bought the ultramodern, 2-story cube of concrete and glass about a half-mile down the ridge. Moved in from Scottsdale, brought her Tesla, and started handing out flyers about community standards before she'd even unpacked her china. Didn't take long before she got herself on the HOA board. Didn't take much longer before I became her personal mission. First it was the fence. Said my post line was crooked. Then the barn said the red paint violated some unwritten aesthetic code. Then my chickens too noisy. My ghosts unsightly. My dog aggressive. And me? She thought I was some desert drifter playing cowboy. Hell, she asked one of the town clerks if I was really a property owner. I ignored most of it. I'd dealt with egos and fire camps before. Figured she'd get bored. But no. She escalated. Started showing up at my gate unannounced, filming with her phone, filing complaints every week. One time I caught her snapping pictures of Scout while I was feeding hay. Told her politely to leave. Her response? A nasty little smirk and not a word. And then came the cop car. That Saturday, I was shirtless in board shorts, lying by my pool reading an old Louis L'Amour paperback, when I heard tires crunching gravel like thunder. Sheriff's car. Deputy steps out, hand on his belt, all business. Says they got a call about a homeless man trespassing, possibly dangerous. My gut clenched. I didn't need a crystal ball to know who dialed that number. I sat up, said, "Deputy, this here's my land. Built every corner of it myself." He wasn't hostile, just doing his job. Asked for ID. I got up slow, handed him my license, veteran's card, and a copy of my deed I kept laminated on the porch ever since Lorraine started circling. He looked it over, nodded, said it checked out. But then his radio crackled. More units en route. Said the caller claimed I'd been shouting obscenities at her house, threatening. I looked past him and saw Lorraine, standing down the road near her luxury SUV, sunglasses on, arms folded like she was waiting for applause. "She's lying," I said flat. "We still need a formal statement," he said. "Mind coming down to the station to clear it up?" I knew the game. If I refused, she'd twist it into guilt. So I went. Scout stayed behind. Sat in that squad car with the engine humming and my pride taking blow after blow. At the station, they took my statement. Offered water. One of the younger deputies pulled me aside after and said, "Between us, she's called about 6 times in 2 months. Always something small. Always exaggerated." I left with a recommendation: install cameras. So I did. Mounted 6 of them: gate, barn, porch, pasture. Got motion lights too. I wasn't gonna play white Tim. 2 nights later, someone dumped trash on my porch: fast food bags, broken glass, and a half-burned candle. Then they spray-painted "Get Out" on my garage in red letters big as a truck grill. That morning, I filed a report. Cops came again. Cameras hadn't caught anything yet. He'd been boxed up during the dump. I changed that quick. Then things went quiet. For about 3 days. Until 2:40 a.m. 3 men on my porch. One with a crowbar. Pounding fists on my door. Shouting. Scout barking like hell. I hit the floodlights, grabbed my bat, and called 911. They shouted that I didn't belong here. That I was pretending. That someone told them I was a fraud. Someone. When sirens approached, they scattered. One tripped and dropped the crowbar. Cops collected it for prints, but the men were ghosts. Next morning, I took all my footage, the letters, the graffiti pics, everything, and walked straight into the HOA office. Dropped it all on the table in front of the board. Said, "This is what your board member has stirred up." To my surprise, one of them leaned forward and said, "You're not the only one. She's filed against 3 other residents this month." An investigation was opened. Couple days later, neighbors started showing up. First was Marla, lives 2 lots over. Brought me cornbread and said, "Sorry I believed her. We know now." Then came Miguel, the contractor who helped build my pool. Said Lorraine offered him cash to say I was running an unlicensed Airbnb. He turned her down. That was the final straw. I called a lawyer. Filed cease and desist papers. Started drafting defamation charges. At the HOA hearing, Lorraine strutted in like it was her Emmy speech. She passed out photos of me walking scout, working my land like any of it proved anything. When it was my turn, I showed the footage, the threats, the statements from neighbors, including a handwritten letter from Marla that made me choke up. The board voted unanimously to suspend Lorraine Shaw from the HOA. She screamed, called it a conspiracy, said the town was against her. And maybe it was. Because folks around here don't like bullies. They especially don't like folks who pick fights with veterans over imagined rules. But just when I thought it was over, I woke up to flames. My hay bales lit on fire in the dead of night. Scout barking like a siren. Fire trucks came fast. Damage was small, but the message was big. They hadn't scared me off, so they tried to burn me out. But here's the thing about old firemen who don't run from smoke. I rebuilt the hay shed stronger, welded steel gates, set the cameras to motion trigger alerts. Lorraine? I haven't seen her much since the hearing. Word is, she's lawyering up now. Says she's the real White Tim. But this town remembers. And I'm not going anywhere. Not now. Not ever. If you think folks like Lorraine Shaw get to dictate who belongs and who doesn't, think again. Let me know in the comments, have you ever had a neighbor like this? Someone who crossed the line so far you had no choice but to push back? Tell me your story. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because this fight for peace, it ain't just mine. It's all of ours.